Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, and sometime kitty co-hosts Ms. Purrington and Mookie. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, our advice column, all of my Austin Chronicle articles, now that I can say all of them, our festivals page listing upcoming festivals across the country and the world, and our FPIA contest page. We're best known for our events page for live comedy shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW, where 100% of the entries that you see come from comics and producers. If you want your show featured on the calendar, click the Submit a Show button from the top of the homepage or events page to complete the short survey. It's free and easy. Tag us on your Instagram stories and we'll share your show promo to our Instagram followers. Want to support these resources that we provide? You can donate to Comedy Wham on PayPal, Venmo, or even Patreon. Click the Support CW icon on our homepage to see the ways that you can help us. Now back to our podcast. Launched in 2016, the Podcast Project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and we usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, I am talking to somebody that I think I kind of first knew as the best big sister to her younger brother. She is the co-host of the Scumberparty podcast. She's a 2023 semi-finalist in the Cap City Comedy Club's Funniest Person in Austin contest. She's actually a regular performer at Cap City Comedy Club, and you've also seen her on Moon Tower Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. And now Comedy Wham presents, and I have to say this publicly, long overdue, our guest, Ashley Sharma.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you have just a wonderful speaking voice. Oh. You said so much and it sounded so professional. Oh my gosh, you need like a radio show.
Somebody give me one.
No, honest, that was so impressive to watch happen. It's like a nervous public reader. That was awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, I would literally say about the same thing for, I think I've got 280 interviews now under my belt.
Wow.
So it's kind of like autopilot.
That's awesome. It's just, I was very impressed. I was like, wow, she is crushing that.
Thank you. Even with all the phlegm in my throat.
It sounded wonderful. Sounded great.
Well, thank you for coming out. I have an icebreaker question.
Of course.
But I'm going to start by kind of leaning into this best big sister because I think my first introduction to you was watching during those, I had seen you when you were first starting comedy.
I was brand new before COVID.
Yeah.
Had been doing it for a couple months and everything shut down. So
yeah.
I wasn't well incorporated in the scene yet.
Yeah. And then I saw you because we were both fans of the Lanalax Corporation.
Yes.
And during COVID, they would do the video broadcasts, and we would all be in the chat room, and you'd be with your younger brother. And
yes.
That's how I first know you.
My sweet darling. At the time, he must have been about 13 or 14.
I think that's right.
He's now a full 18-year-old boy.
Yeah, because I think he and my son, to make me feel ancient here now, are about the same age.
Same age, yes.
Yeah, my son's 17, actually 17 and a half now.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah.
It's so crazy, right?
Time.
I'd shift into total, parent mode. We have an 11-year age gap between me and my baby brother, and I'm full parent mode. I'm a legal guardian of his.
Are you really?
Not my parents are also his legal guardians, but I am also to help with so I could do medical appointments and school stuff for him. They just slap me on there too.
Yeah.
So he is
so cool.
My favorite person in the world. That's an accurate, I think, first description. I think anyone who's ever met me for the past 18 years is like, oh, and you have a little brother. I'm like,
yeah, and your feed, it's like he's in there a lot.
Oh my gosh, you can't even tell I do comedy from my Instagram, but you can tell I have a brother. It's all him.
Like, where are the past shows she's done? I know she does everything. Little brother.
I need to work on it. It's truly one of my goals this year is to make sure people know they followed the right account when they follow you after a show, because I think people are like, oh, I'd love to follow you, meaning I would love to see what shows you do, but instead I'm like, guess what? You're getting pictures of my little brother and basically nothing else. So it's a goal of mine to grow on social media, get better at it this year.
Well, the other thing that people know you as is as a nurse.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, we're eventually going to get to the...
There's other stuff happening first. Yeah, nursing is, I finished nursing school and had 1 month off. And before like finishing my exam and then starting my new job. And in that month, I saw The Lonely Island at the Moody Center. They were like doing a live show, and I was like, oh, I'll go to that. And Vanessa Gonzalez, lovely local Austin legend Vanessa Gonzalez, opened for them. And I was like, wow, she's so cool. She's so funny. She did not know the story until very recently. And I truly, the next week, was like, I'm going to try stand-up comedy. And so in that little gap of a month, I just started doing stand-up. And then I started being a nurse. So I've never really done one without the other. Yeah. It was like very much I started them at the same time.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm tired.
I bet. I can relate.
Yeah, I'm sure you're so tired too.
Full-time job, parenting, and then whatever this is.
Yeah. I think this is great. I've never seen something so official. That was awesome. I'm still so blown away by that.
All right, Ashley, let's get to your icebreaker question, the official icebreaker for the podcast.
Love it.
One word to describe your past.
One word to describe my past. Oh my gosh, chaos. I feel like since I was born, most things that I've done have been like rooted in total chaos.
Really?
I don't even mean to do it. I like even like nursing. Like I got into nursing, and it was after like I was in school for like 5.5 years. I worked like 5 jobs to get through school. Nursing school was like I was working all these jobs, doing nursing school on the weekends, driving my little brother to and from school. It was chaos, and I was like, I'm gonna be a nurse, and everything's gonna calm down. Then I started nursing, and it was like, guess what? There's a global pandemic.
Yeah, right.
And I just feel like I try to like really pre-plan my life and be very prepared, but it's just always chaos. Always. Every chapter has been just a mess. Good mess and bad mess. Yeah.
Well, you strike me as always being calm and collected, so I'm very impressed by you that you say chaos with all these different things happening, but you actually present yourself pretty calm.
I think that's one of my sole virtues that I can admit about myself is like I was just telling you about the fire on New Year's in my backyard. My neighbor ran into my house and was like, there's a fire. And he was like running and filling up his garbage can with a hose, and there was a big fire in my backyard, and I like took a deep breath. I said, I'm going to be right back. And he was like, you're going to be right back? There's a fire. And I like took a deep breath, and I went in my house and I put on good shoes and was like, you have a fire extinguisher. This fire is going to be put out in 30 seconds. Just don't panic. Because you have one shot with this fire extinguisher. So I think I'm very good at, like, staying calm. Yeah. It's all in nursing, like, ICU training is, like, if someone's dying, you better be like, okay, what do we do next? So I think that's one of my few skills is even if I look calm, it's the only way I know how to act. Yeah. If someone starts dying, I'm like, we have got to figure this out. If you start freaking out, your brain's going to shut down, so... But if I ever look at peace, just know that I'm not. It's a small fire going on in my brain.
Where did you grow up, Ashley?
I grew up here in Austin. I was born in LA, but lived here basically my whole life. Okay. Was a very short stint in LA. And my family still lived there, so we'd go back. But lived my whole life here in Austin. And I've stayed here mostly because of the little brother who's graduating high school. Oh my gosh. And I always said I would stay until he's 18. If my parents made me a legal guardian, I said I would stay here. So grew up here. Yeah. Loved it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You talked about how when you saw that Lonely Island show and then you saw Vanessa, that like triggered something in you. Was comedy something that you would say was a part of your life growing up in some way, shape, or form?
It was. When my parents moved from LA to Austin, their realtor gave them tickets to Esther's Follies in Cap City and said, you guys are new to Austin, check out these places. And my parents were obsessed with Cap City. They went all the time.
Oh, wow.
When I was 17, my mom got me a fake ID to sneak me into Cap City, not for no other reason other just to sneak me into Cap City to see the show Punch. It's now
my gosh.
I know, rest in peace Punch, but to see the show Punch because she just thought I'd like it, and I always liked stand up. I never thought I could do it. I had done Giggle Pants for like a day and was like. Giggle Pants is the UT improv group.
Okay.
And I joined that for a day and was like, this isn't really for me. I had tried to make like comedy videos and just really didn't like waiting on other people to like, someone has to have the camera and like, there's just so much coordination. So I liked comedy. I didn't quite know how to do it in a way that fit my schedule. And I always was like, there's no way I could ever do stand-up. Like, I can't remember all those words.
Yeah.
So I grew up around it, definitely went to shows and things, but never until one day it like clicked with me where I was like, I can just go up and I don't have to wait for anyone. I don't have to coordinate my schedule. I can just write jokes in my notebook during my break and then go and get it done on my own time. That all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then I tried it and was like, oh, I love this. This is great.
Do you remember your first open mic?
I remember my first open mic. It was at Cap City. And not to sound, it must have just been a hot show because I crushed. And I truly thought, and there was a Netflix guy there, and he was like, you should audition for this Netflix show. And I truly was like, oh my God, I'm the greatest comedian in the world. And then I went to my second open mic, bombed to silence. And I was like, oh no, I've got lucky I was like, oh yeah. No, I'm brand new at this. There's no way I'm good. I think I cried the second mic was at the Velveeta Room and bombed to pure silence.
But that's brutal.
It was like, I went from like a hot Cap City crowd being like, wow, am I a star? To just nothing. And then I cried. And I think I cried so hard that I was like asking people on the street, like, do you think I'm funny? But they were not people that were at the show. And so they were like, what are you talking about? And so pretty big dichotomy between the first two. But yeah, after that I was just like, I don't care if I kind of got a taste of both ends. And I was like, all right, I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't think I've bombed quite as hard since then. And I think because you can't bomb as hard as you do your first time.
Yeah.
Because you have like no recovery muscle.
Right.
You have no idea how to get any. You don't have any like. You're just unprepared for how heartbreaking it is.
So was that in 2020 or was that
2019? Okay. So it was like June, July 2019.
Okay.
And I did comedy regularly. I was like all about it. After every shift at work, I was doing something that I cannot do anymore, which is like leaving work in my scrubs and changing in the bathroom. Oh my gosh. And now I'm like, that's so crazy because after the pandemic, it's like I would never wear my scrubs out of work because people would be like, oh my God, get away from me. But I did it for about 6 or 7 months before the pandemic. Yeah. Then everything shut down and my job was like, it just happened to be COVID critical care and it took up all my time. And so then I took like a cool 7 months off again of not doing stand-up and then kind of restarted in like October, November 2020. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of an unconventional start, but I wasn't even, I know people count that little, I still count it. When I say I've been doing stand-up, I say 4 years. Yeah. But that I wasn't even writing. I was just, shutting down.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're like first responder to this global mess.
I want to make it clear because the joke I make myself and hear a lot is also like, she's a hero. And if I had known what that first year was going to bring, I would have never, ever, ever become a nurse. It was so bad. But now I feel...
Oh, shit, that's right, because... You started comedy and nursing at about the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit,
I worked, because as a new nurse, especially in critical care, you have like a person with you for about 6 months. So for 6 months, I was like, had someone with me all the time. I was on night shift, and then I finally switched to days. I finally was on my own in February 2020, and I had a month of like, I really like this job. I think I could be a nurse forever. Like, it's so much fun. I love it. I think I really have a handle on this. And then March came along, and I was like, this is hell. Wow. I'm in hell. Why did I pick this?
Wow.
But I think I no longer work in the hospital, which is a good choice.
Are you still in the nursing industry then?
Yeah, so I work right now for a street team. I always say I'm a street nurse, which is like, sounds crazy.
It
sounds made up.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like
I imagine a beatbox somewhere.
Yeah.
DJ table.
It sounds like I'm like hosting a party or something. But I work with a mobile team that serves people that are chronically homeless, and then to qualify for a program, they have to have a chronic medical condition, chronic mental health condition, and a substance abuse disorder. And then we're a team of like a nurse, a doctor, case managers, housing stability specialists, peer support, and we all work separately. Like, we don't travel around in a van. We all go out in our own cars. But we have like a roster of folks that are in our program, and we help them get housed, help them take control of their medical conditions, and it's lovely, and get clean, and I love it. I've been doing that for 2 years. It's really, really cool.
Oh, okay.
It's called M3, which was supposed to be my chill job. I was looking for a work from home job, and then the story is that they saw my resume on someone else's desk and stole it and cold called me about this job, and I was like, that sounds so cool. So I've been doing that for 2 years. It's not chill. If you are a hiring manager of a chill nursing job, please reach out to me. I need to sleep normal. I am like curious how much better I could be at comedy if I wasn't exhausted before every show.
Well, but on the flip side, isn't the early comedy life all about staying up late, hanging out with friends, and being constantly exhausted? And then you go to your service industry job, and you're on your feet for 10 hours.
And you're just drinking and like living that crazy comedy lifestyle. Yeah. I kind of did that for a while, but I couldn't really drink that much because I would have to, I couldn't be hungover at work. Because again, I was new. It's not even like, I think now I could probably, I don't really drink anymore, but I think now I could be hungover at work and still be good at it. When you're new, it's like you have to like have your brain on. But I did that for a while. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. Now I'm just like, why did I do all that? I'm so tired.
Do you think it's not in your genetic makeup to ever do like the doctor's office nurse?
I should do that. I think I would get so bored. Not to say that it's a job that's not hard or has its own challenges, but I do but with my critical care job and then the street nursing job, I love the like unexpectedness of it every day. And I really enjoy working with like that vulnerable population. Both of my jobs have been working with a lot of people who experience homelessness and a lot of low income people, and so I do love that population. I could do doctor's office work. I would probably love it. Like, I like most jobs, but I am drawn to like the chaos and like I love like the excitement of like, you don't know what today's gonna bring. Mm-hmm. But I truly think this year is gonna be my year to maybe transition to something to a little bit more, at least something where I know where I'm gonna be every day. Like driving to an office instead of driving all around town. And the summer really killed me this year because it was like 117 degrees. And I'm like lugging around this giant backpack. So I think this might be my year to but I don't know if I do doctor's office nursing. Yeah. I think maybe I do like, I feel interested in like clinical education. Like, I'd love to train new nurses. I think that would be very fun, and it would still be very personable. But I think I truly, in my heart of hearts, I think I might be ready for a break from patient care, which I never thought I'd say. When I started out, I was like, 3 years as ICU, and then I'm going to be a certified nurse anesthetist, and like I'm going to spend my life in the hospitals. And now I'm like, no, thank you. I would like to not do that. Who told me that was a good idea?
Well, it is very admirable to me. I think you are my very first nurse comic that I've ever
Out of 280 episodes, I have something unique. Someone else that's been on a previous episode is going to write in and be like, actually, I am a nurse.
I don't think so. I think you're it.
Have you had, I don't know if you've had, there's a doctor, a comic.
Are they Austin?
They're Austin. I don't want to say their real name because they go by a different name. Maybe they didn't. Maybe even if you had them, they didn't mention their doctor.
Maybe.
We have some lawyers.
Lawyers I know.
We have Elizabeth. Why am I blanking on Elizabeth Spears?
Pharmacist.
You know what I'm thinking.
Yes, she's nursing adjacent.
I was thinking Elizabeth Jokes in my head, but that's just her Instagram name. Elizabeth Spears is a pharmacist. Yeah, we've got some. We could run a really needed clinic.
Yeah, there you go.
Just do some well checks. I want to get some labs done on most of you guys.
Oh man.
I thought about doing that for a while. I know, right? What would we find?
Yeah.
I thought about trying to do, because they have like HAM. I wish I remember what it stood for, but it's like the
Health Alliance for Austin Musicians.
Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. I would love to do that for comedians.
Yeah.
But every time I've thought about doing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, with what time?
Right.
But hey, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe since I'm speaking it into the universe.
Maybe, yeah.
I will. Maybe if I do like a less intense job, I can find time for these other ideas.
Yeah.
I'm just creating more work for myself. I complain about how busy and tired I am, but everyone's like, you don't have to do this. You could just exist. I'm the problem.
All right. Well, let's finally pivot to Ashley the comic.
Out of nursing.
So a stellar first-time open mic. And then you spend 6 to 7 months like practicing and getting a little bit of momentum. And you were probably by March you were picking up shows, I would imagine.
Yeah, in March, actually February, that Valentine's Day weekend, I did my first Cap City weekend hosting.
Oh,
and
wow.
I did Punch, one of the very last punches ever that first week in March.
Oh my gosh.
So I just barely, those were like my first 2 things I think that I did at Cap ever, outside of the open mic.
Yeah.
So I just barely got my foot in the door and was so excited and felt like I had this momentum going. And then like a week later, it was like, everything's done.
Oh my God. And that's, thinking back to those pre-pandemic comedy scene days, like getting Punch, huge milestone.
Huge deal, yeah.
Getting to host at Cap City that early on in your career?
I was very excited.
That's amazing.
I think of it as like divine intervention that like that quickly I managed to weasel my way in there. And it was my parents got to see me not only perform on the stage that they'd been going to in Austin for 20 years.
Oh my God.
But they also got to see me do Punch, which is the show my mom snuck me in to watch. And so it was like, and then that was like one of the very last punches.
Yeah.
And one of the very last last weekends at that Cap City.
At that venue.
So I really liked it. And when I think about how that worked out, I'm like almost stressed in retrospect that it wouldn't have turned out so lovely. But I'm very, very thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Punch was like the coolest thing you could do. It was kind of fun to get to experience both scenes, like getting to our little baby scene. That was like probably 75 people. Regularly doing comedy, and then it just boom exploded. Which is also wonderful. It's just it's like very different. I love both though.
Yeah. And most conversations that I have with comics are, so what did you do to the pandemic? So we already know what you did during the pandemic.
That's truly just working. It was nothing else.
Yeah.
I didn't get to make banana bread or whipped cream. I wasn't doing any of the fun stuff. I was having a full spiral in my home.
Can you even imagine a scenario where, let's say you had a different working professional life, and what your personality type would have led you to do during the complete shutdown? Do you think you would be the type to say, I'm going to make something happen for myself, or, all right, I guess I'm just on a break for a while and I'm not going to do anything?
I think I would probably, honestly, the thing I probably would have done, which I did do a little, I just didn't do it as uniformly as I wanted to, is I would have definitely like set up some sort of challenge for myself, like set some sort of goal and been working towards it. But I could definitely see myself like being like, I'm going to train for a marathon or something like that, where it just keeps me busy every day, but it's not necessarily, I don't know if comedy-wise I would have set something up for myself. I was just so new that I was just excited to do anything, but I don't think I had a good understanding of the like industry of it or how to sell tickets or
Yeah.
how to host a show. But I don't think I would have relaxed. I should have relaxed. If I had that free time, I should have just chilled, but I would never. I would never.
We know that's not possible.
It's just not. My brain does not work that way, even though I'm really going to try this year. I think it's really bad. I think I could be more productive if I rested sometimes.
Yeah.
It's I'm saying things that people realize when they're 12 years old, and me at 30 is like, sometimes you need to go to bed. So dumb.
Do you remember the first show that you did post, or whatever?
It was the Cherrywood Showcase, and it was the Gross Lonely Boys. It was Danny Enzo and Clarkston, and then it was me and I think Chris Hills. And it was my first show back. All the nurses, like 20, 30 nurses came out.
Oh my gosh.
Because before the pandemic, I didn't tell anyone I did comedy. I was like dead. Like it was like a secret.
Yeah.
For what? I don't know. I don't know why I'm just creating obstacles in my life. It was a secret for some reason. It was a secret from nurses that I did comedy, and when it got taken away from me, I missed it so much that I swore that if I ever got to do shows again, I would invite everybody. I would never hide it from my work friends. Everyone's invited to every show. And so at that first show back, all the nurses were like, you said you'd invite us to come. So I was like, sure.
Gosh.
So it was a really fun show. It was outside at Cherrywood, and it was like, easy to crush because it was like half of my job there.
Yeah.
And they, most nurses are alcoholics. And so they were hammered.
I know that.
I remember they were like so annoying, and I was like, be cool for once in your lives. But it was very sweet that they came. I feel like that was one of the first shows. There was also like, people were doing shows through the pandemic, which I did not know that.
Yeah.
I think the only show I remember happening during the pandemic was, you had a show that was like doing like an online, right? Is that true?
We did an online
like virtual
show.
shows?
Yeah. Which, in hindsight, it's like, well, we were trying to do something good for people who like needed an avenue to express themselves. And we had Colton, who was our host, and he would book these incredible people from across the country that now I'm looking at their social media and I'm like, oh, okay, so you're headlining this, or you have a special now, or
that's
it's kind of
lovely.
crazy. And then little milestones of, we were Vanessa's very first online show.
Oh, I love
and we were
that.
Jasmine Ellis's very first online
Love
show.
it.
And it's like, oh, that's cool. We were able to do that for people.
I think it was so fun. I don't think I did any online shows. I do remember I think the only kind of comedy thing I did the entire pandemic was they did a virtual Valve open mic.
Oh,
And
so
I did 3 minutes on the virtual Valve open mic, and it was dire.
Yeah.
It was bad vibes. It was an open mic. You know how the normal Valve open mic can be. It's brutal. And I don't know why I was like, you know what? Doing it online might be fun. Yeah, I think I did that, and I was like, yep, comedy is probably not going to work out for me.
And yet here you are, like, so with Cap noticing you and having you as a host, they have good memory about these things. So I imagine the first Moon Tower back, I think that was the fall of 21. Mm-hmm. Was that your first Moon Tower?
Technically, and I've never got to say this, but I was booked on the one that was supposed to happen in that April.
Oh.
And I was terrified. Like, I was terrified to be on it. Like the one that was in the 2021. Mm-hmm. So it's happened in April 2020. I got booked on it, and I was like, oh my God, I've been doing comedy for like 6 months, and they put me on Moon Tower. And I was so excited, and I didn't tell anyone because I was nervous in my head that it was going to, like, if I told someone, it was going to not happen.
Yeah.
And then March 11th or something, there was a Spike Club, which is like a roast show.
I was at that one.
And Hunter,
I was there.
And Hunter made a joke about me being on Moon Tower that year. He said something about like Ashley Sharma was going to be on Moon Tower this year. It goes to show that if you work hard and focus, your spot will be taken by a brown girl, which is very funny. I loved that joke. I was like so honored to be mentioned in Spike Club. But he did tell everyone that I was in it. And then like 2 days later, the pandemic happened, and then that Moon Tower got canceled. And I was like, Hunter, you took it away from me. You jinxed it. I wasn't going to tell anyone. So I was devastated that one didn't happen because I was so excited. But then when it came back, I was very lucky that they asked me to do it again.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. I love moon towers. They're so fun.
Yeah.
You feel like a little tiny baby fish in your hometown. And you're like, I don't know, all of a sudden you're like back to the bottom of the ladder, which I like. I like just when there's excitement in Austin. I don't mind being a little fish in a big old pond. I think it's good.
Yeah. And then again, going back to Cap City and its traditions, the FPIA contest, I guess with your timing, you would have probably done it in 21, or 20, but not
Didn't
an
happen.
option. 21, they weren't open yet.
22, I was out of town for the finals, so they told me I couldn't do it. Oh. Yeah. Danny and I both didn't do it 22 because...
I noticed that, and I'm like, oh, is there
I know,
some kind of
people were like,
there?
is there beef?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, what happened was we said, we're going to go... Danny, me and my boyfriend, local comedian Danny Edmonds, his grandma and my grandma both live in Vancouver, and we were going on a family trip to go visit our grandmothers. Yeah. We haven't seen them in years, and so it's not like we could have moved the trip. We were both very excited to go see our sweet grandmothers. And it just so happened to fall on the day of the finals. And so, we had signed up to do FPIA, and then we realized the conflict, and we were like, ask Cap City. We were like, we don't even think we're going to make finals. Can we just do it? Because I'd never done it. Yeah. I was so excited to do it. I'd waited. And they said, if you can't be there for finals, you can't do it at all. Oh. And so then we had to wait again. And then this was my first year doing it.
Oh my God, and you made it to semis.
Yeah, and I had so much fun. My goal was just to make it past the first round. And then I made it to semis, which was like the final 14, and I was like, this is the best. Yeah. This is the greatest. I had so much fun. It was just a good time all around. I'd built up the contest so much in my head. Because I'd watched it. I'd watched it since 2015. On my Snapchat, an app I haven't logged into in like 10 years. There's like an old video of me at Cap City, and on stage is Danny Palumbo. And now I know Danny Palumbo, and he's my friend. But at the time, I was just watching FPIA just because I thought it was funny. Yeah. So I was very excited. I was just happy to be there for the contest this year. So making it all the way to semis was super, super fun.
How nice.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Oh my God. It's like you're living a charmed life.
It's like... I'm having the best time right now. Even though I'm extremely tired, if I could like go back to little me and be like, guess what? You're a nurse, and you're like a crazy street nurse, and you do stand up, and like your little brother is like, 18, and he lives just up the street. It's like I'm in heaven. Like Angelina, again, another comedian, works at the bakery, Quack's Bakery. Down the street from my house, and so I go on little runs, and then I get to go to the bakery where my best friend works, and like she gives me free coffee. I'm like, this is like out of a movie. Life is so fun right now. Gosh. Yeah.
How awesome.
Yeah, and anything I've done with comedy is like a million times more than anything I thought I would do with it. So I get very excited for every. I know most people are like either are like, oh, the contest is so stressful and I hate it for that reason, or like. Or like, oh, the contest, I don't know what that gets me. I'm like, you get to do a contest. Yeah. This is a contest I grew up watching. I'm so excited to even do it. It's just fun. It's all just pretty silly. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. Yeah, it's a good time. So we're gonna take a break. Are we doing? And we're gonna do this game. I'm a game lover. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if you still love games after this one. No, this is pretty harmless. So this is a card game. Where should we begin? Our web guru Richard Goodwin gave me this game. Oh, awesome. And looks beautiful. Yeah. So this, if you've ever had a conversation with Mimi Meyer. She absolutely adores Esther Perel, who wrote this book, and she has like this podcast where she's a therapist, and she talks to people in situations, and she just asks these questions that get stuff out of them. So she did this card game. So you're going to pick a card. Just point to the card that you want me to read to you. I'm feeling drawn to the left. Okay, all right. So you are going to read this one to me first, and then I will read this one to you. So you're going to read that question. I'm going to answer it. Okay, perfect. The best that I can. Okay, I'm ready. And then The last lie I told was...
Oh my gosh.
I love this. This is so fun. Tell me everything.
The last lie. Oh my God. We're recording this in early January, and this weekend I'm releasing an episode with Bach.
Oh, nice.
And I think the question that he asked me was, when was the last time you cheated? And I'm like, I can't think of a time where I've cheated, because academically, never needed to cheat.
You don't seem like a cheating, but yeah, you seem like an open
and he
book,
just kept drilling and drilling and drilling until we found out that while I was dating another guy, I held hands with another guy. And it made me realize, oh no, I really like the first guy. And so, but he had to
sometimes you gotta hold hands. Not.
And it was just holding hands.
Yeah, that's it.
For the record. So to come up with a lie now because of Bach harassing me, I know. Well, it was when I never told the first guy that I held
But he
hands
knows
with
now.
another guy. Oh, well.
I assume that all of your exes are avid, dedicated Comedy Wham listeners.
Do you really want to bring the party down?
Well, who? Oh no, he doesn't.
Yeah, my ex passed away.
Oh no.
Yeah, so.
And for that, I like to think that he's listening from the sky.
From the sky.
From beyond.
Well, for him, he was happily remarried, so
Okay, good.
It's like it's not like he was.
He wouldn't have been devastated. But hey, you never know.
No, he was not.
That beautiful smile of yours, who knows?
Oh, stop.
You guys,
Come on,
for
more.
listeners, she has a beautiful smile. I know you can't see it, but it would blow you away.
And then the phlegm would. Okay. All right. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. See, I get the good questions.
But
I think
it could have gone either. I love this
gone.
question. This question is only bad because you're just genuine and you're a sweetheart. There's people that could have gone hours talking about it like that.
All right, Ashley, your question is the last person who pushed me over the edge.
Oh my gosh. The last person who pushed me over the edge. Oh my! If I tell the real story, it's gonna be such a bummer. I promise. Let me think of like a good I'm trying to think. That's the person who pushed me over the edge. It doesn't take much. I think I live.
What? You're calm and collected.
Maybe. I'm not like, I don't think, Danny and I don't argue a lot. I don't argue with my family too much. I feel like it's going to be something innocuous. When was, I must identify when was I last over the edge.
Do you get mad when somebody cuts you off in traffic? I'm doing the Bach approach now.
Yeah.
Where I'm just gonna.
This is what I need.
Yeah.
No, because I believe I have no way of knowing for sure, but I think I might be a bad driver. Oh. So whenever something bad is happening on the road, I'm like, that was probably my fault. My bad. So sorry, sir. Thank you for not hitting me. Right. I'm so appreciative of that.
Let's see. Somebody does something dumb at work.
So the bummer story is that someone really made me really mad at work, but it's sad. It's not funny.
Oh, no.
It's not funny.
Let's see. Somebody cut in line. Do you lose your mind when?
See, this is where it all comes out. The truth is that I'm docile, and if you're mean, you can be mean to me, and I'm gonna go, oh my gosh, after you, sure.
Oh no,
you're so right. Go right ahead. I'm trying to, when was I last, real pissed off? When did somebody really get on my last nerve? I can't think of anything.
Even your brother?
Oh my gosh, never. He is he is literally such a perfect little angel.
Oh my God, you are the best big sister.
He has never, he's my brother. Sometimes he annoys me, but with the way if my older brother annoys me, you know what?
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
It
actually is both my brothers. It's everyone in the story. It's multiple people. It's all the men in my life.
Oh, no.
It's that, so I'm a vegetarian, but I used to eat meat, and I used to eat just chicken when I was younger, but I've been a vegetarian for 10 years, and I'm not an eat spicy food for sport. I think I can eat quite spicy food, and it's not going to have that effect on me, but I've never been I never try. I'm never eating a habanero, but I've just always had this feeling I think I can handle pretty spicy food. So many of my brothers and my friends they eat spicy food for sport. So we were eating this very spicy hot sauce, these wings, and my brothers were eating like actual chicken wings, and they had some of the sauce, and my brothers were going, wow, this is like pretty hot. Like, this is very, very hot. Mm-hmm. My littlest brother is the one that I love so much. He was on the like pluckers wall for eating all the fire and the whole wings when he was like 9. So he can really handle the spicy food. And they were both going, Ashley, the sauce is really hot. So I got a side of the sauce and had some and was like, this isn't that spicy. And they really were like, it's because it's on chicken that it's spicier. And I'm like, no, I'm like drinking the sauce. And I'm like, this is not as hot. Like, it's a little hot. It's not as hot as you guys are making it out to be. And they just antagonized me for hours until I was truly like, all of a sudden I like lost all composure and was like a little kid and was like smacking them. I was like, shut up. It is just as spicy when I'm drinking it straight out of the cup. And then we did a Scumberparty where part of the show is that you bring a snack. And sometimes for the live shows, we do like a roulette. And we had some da bomb sauce, which is like a very spicy hot sauce. And all of my male friends, Enzo, Keith, I'm calling you all out, Murphy, Danny, they were all like, we don't think you could eat da bomb sauce. Like, one little drop makes us like sweat. And so on the show, they had it there, and I was like, you guys are always talking shit. Like, let me have a spoonful of it. And I ate all of it, and it was like just spoonful after spoonful, like no reaction. And it was this moment where I felt so much rage coming off my body where I was like, I was right about my brothers. Like, I can eat way spicier food than them just because I don't do it all the fucking time. Oh, sorry, it really, something in me snapped. I don't think maybe I do often hit my brothers, but I truly felt like I was like 9 being like, are you kidding me? I'm eating just as hot as I don't like being, a lot of people say that the way to get me to do something is to be like, Ashley can't do that. And then I'm like, I'll show you. Like, I'm like a dumb big meathead guy sometimes. And that's it. And all you have to, even if you don't believe it, if you're just like, she could never run as fast as me, I'm going to try. I'm very easy to manipulate. So yeah, I have a list for the last people. Keith Thomas, Enzo Priesnitz, Danny Goodwin, Andrew Murphy, and my brothers Amit and Savan Sharma for gaslighting me into thinking that I can't eat spicy food when I can. I can eat way spicier food and you guys are all babies, and I won. So there you go. There's
on the record.
Your investigative skills.
Yay.
Yeah, you got it. Are you a spicy food for sport person?
No.
Not at all?
No, but my boyfriend is, and my son, when he goes to out of town, like debate tournaments or
awesome.
even swim meets, which is ludicrous to me, they'll find a Pluckers or a Buffalo Wild Wings, and they'll do like, all the kids that are in the hotel in the room.
They'll do the
challenges. And I'm like, you're competing.
Debate is so vocal too.
Yeah. You're so dumb sometimes.
Oh my gosh, that's the most like 17-year-old.
I know.
Oh, that's so sweet. Debate team and swim team. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll do stand-up? If he's in debate, he's like public speaking.
Yeah, I think he's really funny, and I think he's funnier than me. But that's, I think, because he just got, I think kids have like this natural gift. Yeah. And plus, passive-aggressive queen here, so, he has to have defense against that. And he's been around comedy a lot. Yeah. So, he knows what funny is. But I think if he were to do it, it would be a scenario like you, where it's like, well, I'm gonna work a day job.
Yeah, I have something else. Yeah, my brother, when he was younger, he stays with me once a week, and so my method with him, always raising him, was that if I'm going somewhere, he's coming with me. And so he would come with me to open mics, and then he was there, so he was like, yeah, I'll do it. So he'd be like in middle school doing open mics, and he was like, yeah, you and your friends are lame. Oh. He would crush at the open mics because he's 13.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Savan, you were crushing because you're a child, and they felt bad for you. Not because you're funnier than me. But he was like so good at it, but just not. He was like, yeah, I have other stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
He likes to perform, but I don't think he would ever be like, comedy is my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, because kids, I feel like 17-year-olds today with the internet are just naturally, they have more access to jokes and understand joke structure, and every comment that they write on something or post is like a little joke. So kids today are like funnier than normal kids. They're also meaner. I think children are getting meaner. And I'd like to go on the record and say that.
I'm not allowed to look at the group chats among his different friend groups.
Of course not.
But he has told me some of the things that other kids say, which I then by extension say, okay, so you're probably saying some of these too. And he's like, I'm not as bad as so-and-so. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not
brutal.
I've never been like a check. Again, I'm of my dad, my mom, and me, and my older brother as parenting my youngest brother. I'm definitely the most hands-on. Like, I'm definitely the one, like, I'm doing his homework, I'm helping him apply for college.
No, you can't do that.
100%. I was totally, my parents were like, he was the easiest kid. And I'm like, yeah, I bet he was, y'all. I'm sure he was the easiest kid. My parents don't deny it. They're like, yeah, she did all the heavy lifting with this one. But I've never been, like, a check your phone kind of parent, but... I do see him, like, he's shown me little flashes of, he has like a Finsta, like a fake Instagram, and he's like shown me a joke or two on there, and I'm like, you are crazy. Like, first, sometimes I'm like, I don't understand how this is funny. Like, it's like a niche kind of humor that I'm like, oh gosh, I'm old because I don't know what's going on. Or it's like so adult. I'm like, oh my God, I've created a monster. But it's my fault. I can't put him at comedy clubs as often as he loved, like, sitting. He was always at the back of shows and hanging out. Yeah. He got special permission to go to Cap City before he was 18, and he loved it. Every time he was there, he was having a blast. But so I'm to blame because I exposed him to so much weird stuff at a very young age. Truly during his most formative years, right? I was like, you know what you gotta hear? You gotta hear Hunter Duncan talking about incest porn. That's what you need on a Tuesday night at 14 before you go do a shift at the middle school. So anything he does now, I'm like, yeah, that might be on me. But he's good. He's wonderful. Yeah. It's well-rounded and I also always figured, like, if he's gonna hear weird stuff, anywhere. He's either going to be home on his phone, seeing weird and hearing weird stuff on the internet, or he's going to hear it from the sweet, sweet mouths of my friends. Yeah. So might as well do it while we're all together. Yeah. You can learn this way.
That's one of my kitties. Yeah. Oh, I have, there's 4 in this house.
Oh my gosh. I can't. They have such a distinct loud meow.
He is carrying around, so this is our Mookie. Kitty, and when he does this, it's because he's carrying around one of his cat toys and delivering it somewhere.
Oh, he's on the move.
I can't tell if he's coming closer or farther away because my mom's
so
in the front.
Gorgeous. He's got like the cutest little meow.
Oh, just wait till you see him. He's like, no, that's a different kitty.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah,
I heard Mookie and Miss Purrington.
Miss Purrington's upstairs. Mookie is the snaggletooth, one-eyed, blind cat.
I'm such a, not to say, I love like a cat or like any animal that's got like a bunch of weird stuff about him. I'm locked in. My friend has this little rat dog that looks so, I don't know if he looks ill. He just doesn't look right. It's my favorite dog in the world, so I need to see Snaggletooth Cat.
Okay. Mookie, do you want to come over this way? He might eventually. He was actually there.
I gotta act cool so that Mookie will come in. Yeah. Also, Mookie is a great name.
Yeah.
I was thinking yesterday, these were my late, I truly did this and then fell asleep. I was considering buying a lizard. I wanted a little baby crocodile. And then I was like, oh, they don't stay baby, they get, and also I was looking at prices for crocodiles and expensive and quite, the time sucks. So I looked up like easiest lizard. I googled best starter lizard, and up came the leopard gecko. And I was like looking at them, and I really want to get a leopard gecko or like any reptile, but leopard geckos are pretty cute. And I want to name him Electrolyte. Like, I think that would be I'm passionate about electrolyte solutions. Like, I love Pedialyte. And I really think that would be a good name for a lizard. And I would carry him around. But I've heard that stresses them out, so maybe I wouldn't get to do that. But then I was like, I could never give Electrolyte the life he deserves. So then I went to bed last night.
Oh my God. Well, this seems like a natural segue to talk about Scumberparty.
Yeah.
Because I've watched an episode, and it is, I mean, you do have some segments, but it seems like it's just very free form.
It's chaos.
Random, crazy conversations.
Perfect. Moving on from Leopard Gecko. Our podcast is called Scumberparty, which is like, I don't know why we named it. I remember we spent so much time on the name, and it's crazy that the best we could do is Scumberparty. But the premise of it is it's me, Andrew Murphy, and Danny Goodwin, and we're treating it like a sleepover for your ears. So we, extracted those 3 classic elements of a sleepover, which is a movie that you watch, a snack that y'all eat together, and a ghost story. And we just have one person bring one element. It has to be like just a movie recommendation, a snack that you home make, which is my favorite segment, and then a ghost story that you write, which is the hardest one. And then we vote somebody off at the end. But it ends up being chaos. We do sometimes we do other sleepover stuff, like we've done like Ouija boards and fortune tellers. We've done that game MASH. It's really just anything stupid. We're like, yeah, we'll do it. We did a Christmas episode recently, and that one was like, we had guests. Holly Hart, lovely comedian Holly Hart, came on, and I think she's like she listens to Scumberparty, which always blows my mind that anybody listens to it. And she brought a handwritten and painted children's book about Scumberparty, roasting us as 3 ducks. And it's truly, I was so blown away by it. I was so touched because it clearly showed that she listened to the show, which is nice enough already, but it was so thoughtful and well put together. But so she read it like a storybook on the show, and it was very funny. We've done roast segments. We've done a draft. Basically, it's anything. I
watched the Halloween episode. I'm trying to think. I saw the draft. The
movie draft. We did all of the, was it the movie draft?
The monsters.
Oh, it was all the villains in every movie that we've ever brought on the show. We did a draft of them, which, for some movies makes sense. American Psycho is whatever, what's his name? Patrick Bateman?
Christian Bale.
Oh, the character. Yeah,
I think Patrick Bateman.
Or is that Norman Bates? I'm mixing up all my, Patrick Bateman, that's his name. I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
But that's he's the clear villain of that movie.
Is he though?
Well, we could get into
it. We could really get into that.
I totally understand him, honestly. But, he would be, if you're extracting a villain from that, it would be him. Yeah. Whereas, for, they're not all horror movies that we brought on the show. I'm trying to think, what was our villain for, Space Jam? I guess it was the Monstars. There were some that were, the American economic system.
Yeah, I remember Danny government. On the... Eyes Wide Shut is the Illuminati.
Yeah. So Murphy went through all the movies we brought on and extracted the villains, which were sometimes so convoluted. That was very fun though. Yeah. And I didn't know that people do drafts on podcasts. I guess there's I can't remember the name of it. But there's a podcast that's every week they do a draft. I think it's a very famous podcast that I should know the name of.
I should probably know.
I've never listened to it, but I was like, Murphy, this is such a good idea. This was so fun. Did you come up with this? And he was like, no, Ashley, I didn't come up with joke drafts. I was like, oh, my bad. I thought it was fun. I was really mad that I didn't pick Blanche the cat in that episode.
Yeah, you were very upset about that.
Because I really wanted to. Have you ever seen that movie? It's it's a Japanese horror movie called House, but it's not very.
I have seen that one.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yes, it's got the cartoon elements.
Love it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies, and that's that fluffy white cat in there. That's Blanche. Yeah, that's a great movie,
right? It's a fantastic movie.
Anyways, my point was, listen to Scumberparty. If you like a fever dream of a podcast, and the cooking part is really fun too because the boys. We're not challenging any boundaries of look, Ashley's bad at snacks and the men are actually good. No, the boys are pretty bad at snacks. Every week they bring some, and sometimes it's, I think also the time element. Like, we film on a Monday.
Okay.
So it's like everyone's getting off of work and then we're like, fuck, we have to have like a snack in like an hour. It really enables Danny in particular to make some of the worst snacks I've ever. Sometimes they make me angry. That's another, the last person who pushed me over my edge is Danny bringing like disgusting snacks that I have to eat after we've all worked all day and then we don't want to eat his, like, he brought like warm grapes rolled in Jell-O powder one time. He brought like just a plain uncooked tortilla with almond butter. Like, they're really bad sometimes. And then we get to roast him and vote him off, which is fun. Yeah. But yeah, if you love podcasts that make very little sense but are maybe a lot of fun, check out Scumberparty. And we're doing live shows now, which those are really great. We do like a free live show where you can bring your own. It's like BYOB, and you can come hang out at the Comedy Frequency studio. Nice. And then we just record live. Those have been so fun. People show up, which is shocking to me every time. We have like a couple people that we don't know who like just are fans of the podcast. And I'm always like, I can't believe you're here. I can't believe you're taking time out of your day to come check it out. But they're so sweet, and it's just really fun to. So if you're at all interested, check out those live shows.
Yeah. And you got picked up for Moon Tower this year. The podcast got picked up for
Yeah,
Moon
we got
Tower.
to do it at Moon Tower. So we did one with two of our good friends, Andrew Dismukes and Devin Walker, who are on.
They?
Yeah, never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
Ever heard of a little indie show called Saturday Night Live?
Oh, that thing?
Yeah,
That's still around?
They're. It was perfect because they were, they're on SNL, so that's a great draw to the show. But also, it was like. They're our friends, so we can like make fun of them, and they felt comfortable roasting us, and that one was a
awesome.
really, really fun show. We were in the big room at Cap, which I was like, oh my god, what are we gonna bring out enough people for this? But we did. It was packed, and
oh my gosh,
and the audience was hot. We all did stand up, and then we did the story and the snack, and like did a little presentation on a movie. It was a blast. I loved it. The live shows have been a real unexpected like highlight of the podcast. It's a blast. I just have fun doing it more than anything else.
Yeah.
If no one listened and I just once a week hung out with Danny and Murphy and played a bunch of little games, I'm like, this is good. I think from the very first episode, I was like, oh, this was just like a fun break from normal stand-up. Yeah. And still feels like you're being kind of productive in terms of comedy.
It's good. I'm going to add it to my rotation because I'm like, oh, this is fun. And now that I know one of your movies was House, I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah, did House. Yeah. We've done a lot of people will message me and say like, oh, I watched this movie because I heard about it on the podcast. I'm like, yeah. There's one episode, now famously or infamously, where Murphy and I get into a real fight about, which is, because Murphy and I don't fight in real life ever. We barely fight on the podcast. I don't know why, what was going on in our brains, where he and I just truly got in a real fight about Field of Dreams, which is like the most...
It's such a controversial movie.
Yeah, it's. I don't know why. Something in our brains just snapped and we got into a real fight. Which is very, very funny in retrospect. He and I both have laughed a lot about it, and people have brought it up a lot. But the movie segment is like has more power than I think we ever intended, because people will watch them, and apparently Murphy and I will really get. As soon as that segment was over, we're like, all right, movie's over. Then we were like, why did we just get in a huge fight about that? That was so crazy. But in the moment, we felt that.
That's cool. And you're up to like 60-something episodes. So you've crossed the year mark.
Crossed the year mark.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, there's a couple like nurses that have said they listen to it. Like nurses that I don't know that say that they listen to it during night shift, which when I was on night shift, very short stint, I was on it for like a month and then I crashed my car. And then they were like, oh, I crashed my car driving home tired from night shift. So they let me switch to days. But on my short stint for night shift, I listened to podcasts, including that's when I listened to Comedy Wham.
Oh my gosh.
And so hearing like nurses that like are listening to it for night shift is so like, oh my gosh, people actually like this. And I was so flattered by that I was like, we got to keep doing this forever. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are there upcoming projects that you're working on?
I mean, we're lucky enough where Cap has let us do a couple of the live shows too. Yeah. So we had a great time last time. I'm sure they'll have us back. Right now we're trying to sort out those little we did like a holiday live show, but I really want us to do those monthly ones at the Josh's Black Rabbit Club, which is like an underground basement club. So just every month, check out @Scumberparty on Instagram if you want to come hang. It's mostly a hang.
Yeah.
But 3 of us have
that's
microphones.
always the best, though, especially if you like all 3 people individually. Mm-hmm. And like for me, I like all 3 of you individually. Mm-hmm. Huge Gross Lonely Boys fan. So I like
a Fanny Goodwin.
yeah. So I know Danny is hilarious on a podcast, and he's so smart. Oh. Don't go back and tell him I said that.
Of course, I would never say that to him.
And so his the way his brain works is always fascinating. And then in my mind, I'm like, is it going to be a Gross Lonely Boys kind of thing? And I'm like, well, there's not a Clarkston equivalent in this equation.
I can go Clarkston. I can know every movie and song ever and be angry. Shout out Clarkson, my boy.
But the dynamic is really fun.
Yeah, they're truly. Danny is my boyfriend, but first and foremost, he's like my friend. I genuinely like him as a person. I feel like 50% of the time when we're together, it's like he's my boyfriend, and the other 50% of the time, he is very much just like one of my pals. Oh. And when we're doing Scumberparty, feels like that. Yeah. Because I love Murphy, adore his taste in movies. He was one of my very first friends when I started comedy, and all 3 of us have similar interests. Like, we all love basketball, we all love movies, we're all very family oriented, obviously stand up, but I think we have very different opinions on those things. Like, I think whenever we talk basketball, it's always opposing sides, and movies, we all have very different tastes. So I think it's a good fit for the 3 of us, because we just never run out of stuff to talk about. And Josh is on it too, the wonderful Josh Cabaza, who produces it. He's a fun, fourth, person to bounce off of. I just find him to be very fun.
Yeah, I'm finding myself listening to several of his produced podcasts. Like, I've been listening to Sean Riley show as well, and he's pretty active in that one.
Well, you should know, whenever we end Scumberparty, they have this big Josh's producing company is Comedy Frequency, and so we do at the end we go follow Scumberparty, shut up Murphy, Dad Ash, and follow Comedy Frequency. And every single time it's my turn to say, follow Comedy Frequency. I think every single time I've said, follow Comedy Wham. So it just slips out of my mouth every single time. And then I always go, follow Comedy Frequency, but also follow Comedy Wham. I think only one time have I not done that. It's just because when I think just production company, Comedy Wham it just is in my head, so you're welcome.
Thank you.
Any followers you've gotten, I'm sure, is solely because of
Oh, for sure.
No, but that's what I was saying to you earlier. How branded you are. Clearly, it's working. Well. My subconscious is locked in on it.
I love that.
I love it. It's great.
All right. Well, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want people to know about you?
I don't know. I feel like I drew my. I told you I drew a little mushroom like I always do. Very nice. I've been doing mushrooms and jellyfish, which are we're talking about what I'm doodling on the paper.
Okay, you're doing mushrooms?
No, I'm not doing. I'm in a state of my doodling process where recently I'm mostly doodling mushrooms and jellyfish, which I'm now looking at this mushroom. I'm like, it's because they both have the same shape.
Yeah,
they're very simple shape to do. But no, outside, I mean, people are always like, you're a nurse and a comedian, and I'm like, yeah, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else to me. I like to run. Oh, and I like my brother. Yeah. Yep, it's. I don't think I'm that complicated of a person. I don't have that much going on.
So circling back to the brother, you said you were helping him with college
acts. Yeah.
Where is he looking at going?
So he's brilliant. He's the smartest I think my other brothers are very smart as well. I have an even littler stepbrother who turned 15 yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Or 14, 15, somewhere. I don't remember their ages. But I think Savan is the smartest of all of us, honestly. He's top of his class.
Oh.
If he does like a film program, he's in a band, he runs track, he's just like top like 4% or something. So I thought I was, when encouraging him to apply for colleges, I said, go wherever your heart wants. Like, go as far as you, like, I've stayed in Austin all these years because you live here. You don't have to stay here. Go wherever you want. You're free. And then as it's gotten closer to him leaving, I'm like, or you could go to UT Austin. Like, that's also a good school. UT Austin's a great school. Maybe you could go there. So he has automatic admission to UT, and he's already gotten his, like, yeah, you're in. He's still waiting to hear back from some other schools, like some in New York, and then I think, like, Rice, and got into A&M, which I was like, I guess that's an accomplishment, but we're a UT family, so you're not going there. We're proud in theory, but come on. And then he had some schools he was looking at in Colorado, but I think he's kind of leaning towards UT, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
Which, I would try to leave him alone. Like, I would be like, go do your thing. I'm not even going to look. Go have fun. We're never, if I see you in a bar, I'll walk the other way so you can live. But I would just like to have him close.
Yeah.
I think I was talking a big game, being like, you could go to New York and I'm not going to feel a thing. And I'm like, oh my God, if he goes too far away, I'm going to lose my mind. I think my whole family will collapse into ourselves if he goes too far away. But honestly, wherever he wants. But I think he likes the idea of UT. He wants to do comp sci.
So that's the best school.
It's like, why not go here, in-state tuition? Your whole family's like in the area. He did grow up like on UT's campus. Like, he grew up like on 38th Street. And so I'm like, it might be a little too close, but honestly, wherever he picks, he's so smart that I'm like, go wherever. Does your son know where he wants to go?
So here's the deal. Lake Travis is this massive school, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like 1,000 in the graduating class.
Is that the one that's got the great football team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my son is like just outside the 6%, so he's not automatic to UT.
But you can be on that cusp and still get in.
But he didn't apply because they don't have the right engineering school.
Oh, got it.
I am also a Longhorn.
Oh, yeah.
And
like,
so,
come on, go to UT.
I don't know if you can spot that.
Oh, no, is he going to UT? I mean, A&M?
I think he ultimately will.
Did he get into the engineering school?
He did get into the engineering.
So did my brother.
Yeah.
They could
my
have been
God.
friends. Can you imagine if they went to college together?
You know what's crazy too is my godson, who lives near Waco, also got into the College of Engineering, and I'm like, oh my God.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been so insane, because he did get into Texas A&M engineering.
Yeah, his dream, was MIT, and he didn't make the cut, which was a bummer.
I don't know if my brother ended up applying for MIT, but I did have like a talk with him where I was like, I love you, and we don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you'll have to get in and then also get a scholarship, which, not to cut your dreams short, but just consider that.
Right.
I can't remember if he actually applied or not.
Yeah. And then he applied to some schools in Indiana, Illinois that are strong engineering schools.
Oh, Illinois is fun.
And then Stanford. But the more we talk, he's like, I think I'm just going to go to A&M. And I'm like, I kind of like our idea of you only being a couple hours away.
Yeah, it's
You're
nice.
kind of far, but not too far. I can afford it.
Yeah. It's all reach for your dreams until we're like, oh my God, who's going to pay for this? Yeah, I know. My brother got a scholarship to school in Colorado, and we were like, oh my gosh, but it's not a full ride.
Yeah.
And then it's like $1 million to leave the state. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice that you got a scholarship. But Texas, we sure do love it, don't we?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
right.
well,
and then comp
tell him
science,
congrats.
I will.
Is the comp sci school for A&M in the engineering school?
I don't know. I don't know if it is. But I mean, my son is like definitely engineering, like not, like building
like
things.
Truly. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think if I didn't do nursing, I would have done engineering. Nursing just seemed like the fastest way to have stable money, and then I ended up being interested in it. I mean, I really like anatomy and like critical care. I think it's very fun. But engineering is incredible. The options are just endless and endless.
Yeah.
Does he know what kind of engineering he wants to do?
You're gonna love this.
What is it?
So his dream, and I might show you his little display area.
Oh my gosh.
There's only one other comic I've ever shown his display area. His dream is to build Transformers for Hasbro.
Oh my gosh.
So he's studying industrial engineering, material sciences engineering. That's what he wants to study.
That is so cool. I, in my free time, recently have been bothering, there's no other word for it, bothering very sweet Enzo from Gross Lonely Boys. and he lets me hang out in his shop, and he's like teaching me about woodworking and metalworking and just like letting me get more comfortable around those big industrial saws. Just as, you know, I don't think I'll ever like make anything worth selling or anything. It's more just because I am interested in it. That is so cool. You must be so proud of him.
Oh, yeah. And I have a story about Enzo, too, because I interviewed Enzo the year before he got his FPIA
Oh, funny
win.
to say, yeah.
And so I was just so fascinated by his, like, welding and, like, that part of his life that I invited myself and Travis to his workshop.
You guys have been to the shop?
Yes. And
I love
Travis,
the shop.
like, Enzo spent like hours with him showing him how to do things, you know, the hat and the hammering and then that one big industrial hammer.
Yeah, he has that giant, that huge hammer. It's like, I love using that. I've used
terrifying.
it. It's horrifying, but I love, that is so cool. That is, I don't think a ton of people, I think he's willing to bring a bunch of people to the shop if they want to come hang. Not that, sorry if I'm inviting people.
Sorry, Enzo.
we're outing your spot. That is so cool. He's very nice
so
about that, right? Because he just really, I'm like 100%, I am slowing him down. Like, he's actually working on a project for my mom. My mom is like, needs like a railing built for her house, so he's making that for her. So I'm helping with that, and I'm like, I am slowing him down. I'm not helping. I'm not speeding up the process because he's explaining every step to me, and it's for no reason other than I really like industrial engineering, mechanical engineering. Like I have that, like my dad's an engineer, so I do have that interest. My dad works with like industrial lathes. And so you must be so proud. Like, that is so cool that your son is like followed that interest. Yeah. It's the coolest. I think it's like the coolest kind of work you can do. Yeah. It's just so practical, and you can apply it to like little household things, or you can apply it to like big giant industrial projects on rockets, or even like, I love the way it relates to like surgical tools and medical work. Like, my dad used to work with a company that made magnets that go in pacemakers. And so I love how micro and macro engineering work can be. It's very cool. Yeah. You're going to be, I know it's A&M, but come on, that's so cool. It's so cool to have a smart kid that knows what he wants to do, right? Yeah. Aw, congratulations. Yeah, I want to see his Transformer shop. Okay. That sounds so cool.
All right. Well, let's if there's nothing else, let's wrap up.
That's it. I had such a blast. Forgot we were recording. I was just chatting with you.
All right, are you ready for your final question?
Yes.
All right. One word to describe your future.
One word to describe my future. I think I'm gonna go straight opposite of chaos. And go, maybe relax isn't, like, relax isn't the word. What's the word I should use? Like, for calmness. Maybe not void of excitement, but like, try to see already. I'm like, we got to get it a little, relax doesn't sound right to me. I can't even use the word. What's a good, or maybe balanced. That's a good word. That's a good word. I think balance is perfect. Because it really is my goal for this year. I think I can do much better at all the things I'm trying to do if I was just a little more balanced. I don't think I have to completely give up my love for chaos, but I think just, giving myself a little grace, giving myself a little rest. I will probably be a better friend and nurse and sister and comic. So I'm excited. I feel good about this year. I love New Year's. Yeah. It's fun. Good. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And you're a great comic, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
In addition to all of the other things that you do.
I know, we didn't even talk about comedy.
I know, we really did.
Where did your son get into school? And it's so cool, it's the same place. I think they should be friends.
I know, I think so too, because I've made him watch Land Lex.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's like I feel like very smart young kid minded. Like, they love Lionel X.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham Presents. Ashley Sharma. Ashley, tell us where people can find you and promote your projects.
You can see pictures of my brother, and soon you'll see comedy clips at dat _ash on Instagram, and nowhere else because again I'm working on it. But if you want to get in on the ground floor, that's where to find me.
Okay, and the Scumberparty podcast.
Oh yeah. See, this is what I'm better.
Yeah, this is what you need.
At Scumberparty, which is like slumber party, but with a C instead of an L.
All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed learning about how Ashley got to be the comedic genius and hero
Oh my God.
that you heard today just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham Presents Ashley Sharma. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Ashley.
So thank you.
Welcome to another... oh, my God. Did you hear that phlegm?
I'm always perpetually losing my voice.
Oh,
So this is a safe place.
Okay.